Welcome to the new Hypeman Show Live with your host and professional crappie angler, Mr. Zeke Anderson. Hey, we're talking all things crappie, including tournaments, baits, electronics, tips, tricks, and more. The Hypeman Show Live is brought to you by none other than the Bass Tank. And now, here's the hype man himself, Mr. Zeke Anderson.
All right, what's going on, folks? Zeke here with the Hype Man Show. Thank you all for jumping on. We've got quite a few people on here already. We're trying a new time this evening. I'm at my house. I've got Shannon at his house producing the show in the background. I appreciate him. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on here. We've got an awesome show tonight. Let me first quickly thank our show sponsors. We got the Bass Tank. Man, these guys have supported a lot of anglers all year, myself included, thanks to them. We've got Beat Down Outdoors. You guys, great sponsors of myself and the show. Huckabee Rods, awesome people. Snacky Lures. We're about to talk to some folks tonight that are heavily involved with Snacky Lures. It's a great bait that I've got my hands on and super excited about that. So tonight I am grateful to these guy and gal, husband and wife. I've got Richard and Ashely Faulk on the show. Very cool people. Here they are, Richard and Ashely Faulk. Man, what is going on, y'all?
Hey.
I'm living the dream.
Living the dream. Thank you guys for jumping on and joining me tonight. Testing out this new time, I know. And man, y'all are like some of my idols. You are literally living the dream. I mean, out there fishing together, doing your thing, and having a ton of success doing it. I mean, this season, and we won't spend a ton of time going through the season because I know that we're going to have a lot of questions coming in. We already do, but let's go through, quickly here the accomplishments that you guys had this year. I mean, I know you've got a stack of hardware. I've got a few trophies behind me. Not nearly what y'all have accomplished this year. So it's amazing. So where did we start? Did you guys go to Florida this year?
Yes, yeah, we started out in Florida in January.
How did Florida go?
It went well. With the first day, we come in with a good sack. I think we had 13 pounds. We've never fished that river system before. Went out, found some good fish, but we're still in 7th place. So I'm like, okay, top 10. I want to be top 5, or we want to be top 5. But it's okay. So next day we went out. Actually, I kept seeing, or she kept seeing fish, what she called crappie, come to the top of the water and go back down. And I'm like, and she told me that, I was like, you smoking crack. Oh, ain't no way. Well, I got looking at it on live scope, and then I see these fish coming from 30 foot off the bottom straight to the top of the water, hitting the top of the water and going back down. Well,
wow.
Finally, I looked at another one and I kept my eyes on him. And finally, I seen when he rolled over, I seen the specks. I was like, holy crap. Because they was running up fast. I mean, you couldn't really tell what they were on live scope. Told Ashley, I said, get a slip cord, put a minnow on it, throw it out there in an area, 60 seconds, pick it back up, throw it somewhere else. First time she threw it out, she caught a 220.
Wow. Awesome.
So that day went okay. We come in. There were some boats around us all day, so she couldn't use the restroom. Any one of us, we can just, hey, turn your head, we got to go. But she held it all day long. Got back to the boat to the landing to weigh in. I had to get the fish ready. We kept 8 fish just for the simple fact of, the water temperature 78, 79 degrees.
Yeah.
Didn't want one to die. So we kept 8 fish. That was on the number 1 coil. Her fish are 220. Well, I grabbed a 7 wrong fish and weighed them in, or 6 of the right ones and 1 of the wrong ones. 2 or 3 days later, we found a 220 on the number 1 coil in the live well.
Talk about sick. I was sick when I saw that come out of the live well.
So, you know, I don't want to jump ahead, but, you know, that really hurt us a little bit toward the end of the season.
Oh, absolutely it did. Absolutely. So where did you, with that mistake, which I had Wesley Miller is on here a few weeks ago. He's watching. Wesley, what's going on? Big Sasquatch. And he and his partner Justin made a huge mistake, similar to that, and weighed in 8 fish at a tournament on Lake Fork at a pro crappie trail tournament. And both those guys are very open about it and talk about it just like you're doing now, which I appreciate, because even the best of the best make these mistakes, and it's something that we just have to learn from, move on, get better, and hopefully never make again, right? That's the idea, because Richard, Ashely might push you out of the boat if you make that mistake again.
I will. It hurt because we finished 11th, so we would have
finished 11th.
Yeah, we would have definitely been a little closer had that not happened.
Oh, way closer, way closer. So 11th place at St. John's River in Florida. Never been there before. Still a great finish, a great start to the season. I get the frustration, trust me, with the mistake that was made. And finding that fish 2 or 3 days later in a live well, I've been there a time or two. Never fun. So where was it? Darbone after that?
Yes, I believe so.
It's Darbone, and
February.
February, Darbone. I was at that one. Darbone has never treated me well. That lake is kind of like Truman for me. It's kind of my nemesis. I have good day ones, and day twos I seem to fall apart. I can't keep it together. So how did you guys do at Darbone? What happened at Darbone for you in February?
Pre-fishing was okay. The fish were scary. I mean, they were so skittish. We was having to throw at them 35, 40 foot away. It was just one of them things that, we're catching good fish. We thought we would, place pretty high. We're very comfortable, maybe a little too comfortable, I guess. Went in, caught, I think it was 14 pounds the first day and 13 something the next day. You can't ask for 2 better weights, really.
Yeah.
In a tournament, a 2-day tournament, but still got 26th place. With almost, 14, 28, 27 something pounds. Still got 27th place. Wasn't that great of a tournament, but there was a lot of boats there, a lot of competition. No excuses. We just didn't catch the fish.
That's part of tournament fishing. That's why it's one reason I love tournament fishing is because you got to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, that was a tough finish for you guys. Me and Dylan were somewhere in that range too. Honestly, I can't even remember. We had a great day one, 14.5 pounds, and I think 1280 something on day 2. So, fell drastically. I think we finished somewhere in the high teens. So we were right there, with you guys. So that happened. So Darbone, and was the next one?
Grenada.
Oh, it was Grenada. The next one was Grenada. Yeah. And y'all did phenomenal at Grenada. What a tournament. I mean, what a fun tournament.
Yeah, it was a tournament of a lifetime.
Agreed.
I've talked to many, many anglers, tournament anglers, that didn't show up to that tournament, and they are kicking themselves in the butt over it.
Yep.
To be able to go out there and catch the fish that every one of us caught.
Absolutely. There was 98 teams there, I believe, and 46 at least at a minimum of those teams weighed in 3-pound fish as a big fish. More teams probably caught fish over 3 pounds. But so day one at Grenada, we saw you guys out there. We weren't fishing real far from you for part of the day, but as y'all always do, you are running and gunning and moving and making it happen constantly to stay on fish. Where a lot of guys, myself included, at times I get caught in one area and kind of get stuck, memory fishing or whatever. But you were moving around all the time, running around, finding new fish that other people hadn't found. So after day one, do you remember what you weighed in?
Day one, 2096.
Just under 21 pounds. Unbelievable. Were you in fourth place?
Fourth place, first day.
Fourth place, first day. So day two rolls around. What was your game plan going into day two?
Same thing I did on day one. Just go beat it up again. If the fish aren't there or as many fish, crank the big motor up, run, shut it down, get back after it.
I love it. So day two, you come in with, do you remember the weight?
1975.
1975. Did you stay in fourth place?
Yeah.
We stayed fourth place to end the tournament.
What thought?
Yeah, we come in and broke the record, and then you weighed in. You and Dylan weighed in right behind us, and then re-broke the record.
Yeah, that record got broke several times.
Yeah.
By several different teams. It was a really cool thing to be a part of and witness and be there and watch you guys and the success that you had there. And Chad Turner, had a great tournament there.
Yes.
Matt Rogers got second at that tournament. Kudos to him. Came in day two with a giant bag of fish. And Blake and his partner, Blake Cook and his partner, some local guides down there, Blake guides down there. Awesome people, very fun to be a part of. Not a tournament that was on my radar at the beginning of the season, but knowing how that lake was fishing, I had to be there. So yes. Great finish at Grenada. That kind of, 11th, then 27th, then 4th. You guys are rolling. You're in tournament mode. Ashely, what is it like for you fishing, as a couple with your husband, with Richard? I mean, I know you guys obviously do great together, but what's it like for you to go out there and compete on this national trail with Richard?
It's at first it was scary because I had never been in any kind of tournament, but Richard and I have always worked together. And when we weren't working, we were fishing. So, him coming to me in January and saying, hey, do you want to be on, a team and go Crappie Masters? I was like, well, I did it reluctantly. And, I knew that eventually we would, have success because we've always worked well together. So I was okay. And then here we are. It's, no different fishing with him on a tournament than I would any other day. I mean,
sure.
If he needs something, I'll focus on what he needs. And if, I can do something, then I'll do it. But it's, how we've always just worked together, support.
I love that. The teamwork side of it, right? I mean, it's invaluable to have that partnership on the boat where you can focus on each other's strengths and truly just be there for one another. I think you guys had that chemistry more so than 95% of the field out there, and I think you're just going to get better and better.
I think that us being married, like you said, the chemistry that we have, Richard and I know my strengths in some areas are his weaknesses, and his weaknesses are my strengths. So
sure,
I think it makes things go better just because I can anticipate how he's feeling or in the moment. and maybe kind of diffuse that so where, regular teams, they're not on that level.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You guys can read each other better than anybody out there. And when Richard gets frustrated, how to calm him down, rein him back in, and get his mind right to where, hey, it doesn't matter if we just lost a giant fish. We're competing, we're rolling. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. So Grenada, 4th place, and then wasn't it Washington?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Washington? Yep. Man, what happened at Washington? Tough tournament. I know that lake is on the top 25 crappie fishing destinations in the country. There's articles out there about that. And we go out there to this Crappie Masters tournament, and it did not fish like a top 25 lake in the country at that time.
It was rough.
Rough. Post spawn. So what did you do there to capitalize on finding the fish and catching the fish that you did?
That's basically the same way I was fishing at Grenada on day 2 when our fish left the area we was fishing. We just kept moving and moving and moving, trying to upgrade. Going back to Grenada real quick, we're trying to cull a 268. Over a 2-pound fish, trying to cull it, throw it back in the water. Oh, we don't want him, So we're, running around trying to find bigger fish. Now, like Washington, we was pre-fishing, and there were hardly any fish that we could see. I assumed that, being a top 25 lake, we would have seen more than what we did. But if there was 100 lakes in the United States, at that time, that lake, in my opinion, was 100.
Yes.
The last on the list. It was absolutely horrible. I don't know if anybody out there has ever done it, but using the live scope, running around to get to their first place they want to fish, they throw the trolling motor down, and boom, they see a crappie. And you drop down on it, catch that fish, and you might see one 15 minutes, you might not. So that clicked in my head, and I told Ashely about it. She said, well, try it. So I'd pick the trolling motor up. We'd run 60 seconds, throw the trolling motor down, boom, there'd be a crappie. Drop down, catch it, and if I stayed there after I caught that fish, it'd be an hour and 45 minutes before I seen another fish. But we'd pick the trolling motor up, catch the fish, pick the trolling motor up, and move 60 seconds again.
I've got a theory on that that John and I actually developed last year, fishing tournaments, because the fish at Washington, at least the fish we were catching, were hugging the bottom, and the reason I think that, and this is a total theory, and I mean, you guys can comment and tell me I'm way off base. That's fine. But is it the big motor running, spooking those fish up off the bottom so they're up a little bit more in the water column? Even if they're 3 inches off the bottom, they're easier to catch, easier to see. And that's why when you shut it down, throw the trolling motor down, boom, you see fish. Just something that we've talked about. That makes all the sense
in the world. I mean, it really does. Because it's just like it's also human nature. It's if you hear a train coming, what are you going to do? You're going to turn around and look.
Exactly.
Same thing as any animal on this on planet Earth, they're going to turn around and look and see what's coming, so they can get away from it.
Exactly. So day 1, Washington, you guys come in, had a really good bag of fish. I don't remember. Do you remember the weight? Approximately?
I think we had A little over 11 pounds, or just right there at 11 pounds.
Really, really good bag of fish. Where were you sitting after day one?
First.
You were in first, so you went ding to ding on this one. I love it. So day two comes. Obviously, you're sitting in first, so you got to go out with the same strategy that you had on day one.
Yes, no doubt. We turned and burned. I mean, that's, we dropped trolling motor. If I didn't see a crappie in the first, 2 minutes, 120 seconds, I picking the trolling motor back up, get back there behind the big motor and running. Another 60 seconds, drop the trolling motor, boom, there'd be a crappie. It was a little less. The first day was horrible. The second day was horrific. You see what I'm saying? It was really, really bad, because now pressure of 3-4 days of pre-fishing, and now a tournament, day one tournament has passed. The fish are really, really spooky.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget they fall off a couple times, and we had some mishaps, but thankfully I was there at the net to save the day.
Yeah, so right. And that's the story I was going to get to in just a second, but running around the same way I did day one, we ended up catching fish, and you guys will see it on the Pursuit channel when you watch it this season. My first 3 fish that I hooked into, the first one come to the top of the water, hook come out his mouth. She dove down in there, got the fish. All right, wow. So that's the first fish. Second fish, I try to be fancy and pull the line as I'm setting the hook to just bring him on into the boat. And that's not how I fish. I don't know why I did that. I guess I got a Kevin Rogers moment or a Robert Carlisle moment in my mind, or Joey Johnson moment. I don't know. But I did it and brought him up where I couldn't mash my button on the bait caster to release some line. Well, he shot up under the Garmin, and I couldn't mash the button, so he shot back out into the water. Ashely, over my back with the 12-foot Jinko net, got the fish in. Then the third one got to the top of the water. My line broke. The fish was already going back down, but she was already 3 foot under the water with the net, so the fish actually swam into the net.
Wow.
So that's 3 fish, and those are the 3 biggest fish that we had that tournament. And if she would not have been there with that net, if she didn't know what she was doing, the timing, everything had to have been perfect for those 3 fish. Kind of like you and Dylan's fish at Grenada, right?
Yep. Very, very similar.
She did that 3 times in one day. It was just amazing.
That's awesome. That it's one of those moments where you feel like this is meant to be. This was our tournament to go out and not only win, but just dominate. And the way you did it, incredible. So you guys obviously, won that tournament. Your first big win, of the year. And how special is that to do as a husband and wife team? What I've always appreciated about the two of you is the support that you give to other anglers that are out doing the same thing that you're doing, and cheering on, other people. Even when you lose, you're so happy for the people that have beat you. And, I hope that you felt some of that love from a lot of the people at Lake Washington when you guys popped that win, because it was truly a really cool thing to witness, the way you did it, all of it. Stoked for you. And stacking up more hardware, right?
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, stacking up more hardware, getting that $10,000 check, and probably some contingency money on top of that. So phenomenal job there.
We felt a lot of love there.
Good.
A lot of people gave us a lot of love. Congratulations. This was the color.
There it is. So what bait is that? Talk about that bait. What is that?
That is the FS 400. Snacky Lures makes it. This is basically bait I designed. This right here is an orange and silver with flake in the tail, silver flake. And I use that bait predominantly 90% of the time, I think I tried 2 minnows, and they wouldn't bite the 2 minnows.
Yeah.
And I knew better to even put a minnow on, because if they ain't gonna bite this, they ain't gonna bite that. But anyway, I had to try it because you didn't see very many fish there.
Yeah.
But that
Especially
FS 400 is
fish.
what we won it with, the orange and silver flake. We've got an FS 200 also, but we'll go over that later. That we didn't use that at Washington.
So Snacky Lures, if you guys that are watching have not, checked these things out, this is a really, really great profile plastic bait that obviously is proven to put fish in the boat, proven winner. So check out Snacky Lures and, get some of those on order. Zach Lawmaster does a great job taking care of his customers and his pro staff for sure. So from Washington, did we go? Where did you guys go after Washington?
I believe it was Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, that's right. You went to Kentucky. I was not at Kentucky Lake. How was Kentucky Lake?
It was not what we expected. Not at all. Any and everybody you talk to that's fished Kentucky Lake knows anything about Kentucky Lake, knows that there's 14 and 1 million stake beds there in that lake, and that's where the fish are supposed to be. Well, I checked 13.9 million and a few docks, and they wasn't there.
Where did you end up finding them? Open water?
I think it was Blood Creek, Blood River. One of the two. Found some good fish. Pre-fishing, left them alone. Went back. If I remember correctly, we had a pretty good day one weight. I think we were sitting in 6th or 7th. I can't really remember that tournament. It was another fiasco. Day 2, we caught some fish and we was catching them deep, so they're floating. Okay.
Yeah.
Tried doing everything we could do to keep them going. I seen about 3 of them that I thought were dead. But I'm not the man that makes that call. You know what I mean? They could have still been alive. I don't know. I didn't stick my finger down their throat. None of that to check them, but just looking at them, I would have said they was dead. So we just packed up probably an hour and a half early, went to weigh in. Luckily, they stuck their fingers down their throats and felt movement. And thank goodness we was able to get those fish weighed in. If not, we'd have been in a bind for sure. I really can't tell you what place we got in that tournament. I was so messed up with those fish, man. I was about to cry.
11 there too. I'm not
11,
sure.
yeah, we did get 11.
We got 11.
Yeah, we got 11.
Kings of 11th place. I've been there more times than I can count. One spot out of the hardware, right?
One spot.
Frustrating every time. I did it twice last year and twice this year. Tough pill to swallow, but still a great finish. 11th place in a national tournament, still a great finish. So Kentucky Lake, and then was it Truman after that?
Yeah.
It was Truman after that. Truman is a nemesis lake for me. I love fishing it. Great lake, full of timber. I just never can put together, a solid 2 days in that lake. So how did Truman go for you guys?
Truman was rough for us. Partially, I think it was my fault because I didn't get to practice and work out the bugs. We weren't fishing in our boat. So, when it was game time, I dropped the ball. And I didn't realize that I needed to be netting with my left hand, and I came through the right like I normally would, but we have a War Eagle. We were in a different boat that had windows. I wasn't aware until it was too late. So
Gotcha.
we lost a crucial fish, and it was my fault.
And that stuff happens, especially if you're fishing out of a different rig than you're used to. I mean, I get it. But how fun did you enjoy fishing that lake? I mean, to me, I see when I've been to Truman a couple times now, and it is a factory for just catching fish. Not always easy to find the right fish, but as far as catching eater fish, if I'm a guide, what a great lake to be a guide on. Just timber fishing and a lot. You can go pretty much anywhere on that lake and find fish to catch.
Truman's a great fishery. I think it's my nemesis though. Going there at tournament time, I can go there tomorrow and catch some monsters.
Yeah.
Tournament time, mediocre fish.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. Kevin Rogers just jumped on here watching. Kevin, we're talking about your home lake, man. How much we love it. It's a love-hate relationship. Love to fish it. Tournaments on it. Tough, man. Tough. So, but phenomenal fishery. I've seen photos being posted lately. I know Dylan Stocking up there, guides up there full time. Mike Valentine is guiding up there. Some friends of ours, and they're catching some hammers. But so we go from Truman. I can't even remember what was after Truman.
Nationals.
Was it Darbone?
Yeah, Nationals.
National championship.
Yep.
We went back to Darbone for the national championship. Different time of year, obviously. We fished there in the early spring in February. Went back there towards the end of the year in October for the national championship. How did that play out for you guys at Darbone?
Really, we're seeing the same fish. Fish were just smaller. Not lengthwise. They looked like they were 2.5 pounds on live scope. But you get them in and they're $1.25.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that big. It's beginning of fall, just ending summer. They were very, very skinny. So they were still running around for us. We still had to cast to 95% of them. I was sweating bullets because, you got so many of these crappie clubs now, which is a great thing. The state clubs, crappie masters. And it's a great thing that they can go to the national championship, qualify in their home state, and that's an awesome thing. But what's really bad for us, in that tournament, was we're fighting against all of them, for what we did, what we accomplished all year.
Yeah.
So that was something that went in our minds, but we had to get it out of our minds and just fish. And like Chad Turner said, just go fishing. Just get it out your mind and get at it. We did good. National championship, 20th place for our first year. It's very awesome to us. Of course, we'd have loved to won it.
Sure.
But who would it? Since we didn't win it, I was so happy at who did win it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If there was any other team out there that could have won it, that's the team I wanted to win.
TJ and Alex Palmer, hats off to them.
Yep.
Father-son team. Those guys, I mean, I know how hard they work at it and plug away and show up and compete. I think that everybody was super stoked for those guys. You guys still had a great finish there. There was, I think, 138 boats at that tournament. So, really good turnout to a national championship on a lake that fishes really, really small. So there's a lot of congestion. Got to be polite to one another, respect one another's, waters. And I think for the most part, everybody there really was, and it went off really well. I thought it was a well-run tournament. But hats off to TJ and Alex, man. Those guys, they killed it. Great for them. Couldn't be happier for them. So you ended up your year and won. Huge win at Washington. Really solid finishes everywhere else, and won male-female team of the year. Awesome. Got some money for that, I assume.
Yes, that's what we set out to do when I asked her if she wanted to fish with me. That was our goal. That was our only goal. If anything else happened, that would, we really didn't even think anything else was going to happen. So, I don't even think the thought crossed our mind. But that's what we set out to do, was to compete and win male-female team of the year. That's what we wanted. That's what we set out to do. And I think we lost one, and that was Truman.
Yeah. So where did you finish up in Angler Team of the Year?
Angler Team of the Year throughout the whole deal was second. Right behind Matthew Rogers.
Second in Angler Team of the Year. First in Male-Female Team of the Year. I mean, that's something to build off of. I mean, you got momentum. You got to be excited about going into next season.
Oh, man. Like this year right here was our rookie year. We won Rookie Team of the Year also.
One Rookie Team of the Year. I forgot about Rookie Team of the Year. Won that one.
Rookie Team of the Year. Very pleased with that. That was a race, and I don't want to bring up old stuff, but thank the Lord, Chad fell down at the launch and brought too many fish in because he was only 2 points behind us.
Yeah.
God bless him.
That was tough for Chad. I mean, I still feel for him. He's a friend of all of ours. Great guy, great competitor, great fisherman. He did me and Dylan a favor there too, because it moved us up a spot. We got 7th, and 7th place was the check cut line.
Right.
So that was still feel for Chad. I'm sure he's on here watching. Man, we love you. And we know you're not going to make that mistake again. I know how tough that was for you. But way to hang in there. He still showed up and competed on day 2 and stuck in there. So good for him. We got to get some of these comments coming in, guys. We got Josh Pridemore on here. Man, thanks for jumping on. Rod Silman, man, appreciate you. Norman Vaughn, what's up, my brother? Always on there supporting. Kyle Jones says hello to you guys from the Red River. Kyle helped everybody out down at the Red River at Wally's tournament. Robbie Daves Claiborne says hello to y'all. David Morgan. What's going on, David Morgan? All 3 of them are top dogs. Richard and Ashley are top dogs. I don't know about the third group in this conversation here. Wesley Miller, my ninja. John Locke says, what's up, guys? David Morgan says, Ashley, push him over so we can't see him. Jeff Larch says, what's up? Derek Segrist, man, Derek, what's going on, brother? Hope you're catching him down there. Chad Turner, Justin Smart. Man, Justin, Wesley, you guys got to get up here and fish with me and Richard and Ashley and Dylan. Come up here and have a good time. Wesley Miller says, poncho and a bucket makes a great female toilet.
Well, I've already apologized to everybody that I normally talk to. Like, if I come in and my pants are wet, just mind your business.
Mind your business, right?
That mistake's not going to happen again.
Poncho and a bucket. Scott Malone
is going to be used a lot next year.
Yes. Scott Malone's on here, said, what's going on? Chad's asking, this is a great question. I love this question. It comes up every one of these I do. If you had the opportunity to fish with anyone, who would it be?
being that I didn't start crappie fishing until basically live scope come out. Back growing up, we didn't set out to go, okay, we're going crappie fishing today. We went out and caught food. Catching a crappie was the cherry on top. So without being that I come in, the live scope guy, probably Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman, just because they know so much about a crappie and how that crappie behaves, what they do when we can't find them on the live scope, because they caught crappie, without a live scope. So did a lot of people, but they know their behaviors, how they act, where they go, and we rely on that live scope so much that when we can't find them, it's the worst fishery in the world.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. Ronnie Capps, Steve Coleman, two legends in the sport, and have stayed relevant for years and years and years because they can pattern fish so well. They're maybe the two best in the country at it. So I mean, I'm right there with you. I would love to get on the boat someday with Ronnie and Steve. And you won't find two better guys out there, right? They're just great human beings. So Rick Angel, what's going on, brother? Thanks for getting on. Nick DeWolf. Nick, I follow you. I see you all the time. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. He's got a good question here. He said, bass follow bait with the wind. Do crappie do it also? Do they go the direction it's blowing or fight against it? It's a good question.
That's something that I couldn't answer. I just have started to follow bass. And the way I'm catching them now is a rig, throwing next to docks. Or is he asking me? Is he asking us, do crappie do the same thing?
He's asking if crappie do the same thing. Yeah.
I don't think they go with the wind. When we find crappie, they're mostly suspended and they're sitting still. When they are roaming, they're roaming for a reason, to catch a shad or to move away from Mr. and Mrs. Faulk's boat.
I agree with you. Find bait, find fish. I know that what I do know about crappie is they're going to try to get out of any current that they can. They do not like current. They don't want to fight it. So they will find current breaks to get away from them. Great question, Nick. That's something I think that we're all still studying and learning. What these fish are, how they're acting, in that open water in those windy conditions. So, man, stay tuned. We'll try to get more info on it. John Hudnell jumped on and said, "What's going on?" To the three of us, we got Taylor Littlefield on here. He's trying to get it going on his YouTube. Zach Lawmaster, love that guy. Said, "Nice shirt." He's always complimenting your shirts. There's got to be an inside joke there.
Nice shirt comes from, I always have on a Fat Slabs Guide shirt every time I see Zach. So he teases me and says, "Nice shirt," because he loves that I have the same thing on all the time.
I love it. I
told him I was being thoughtful, so that way if I ever get kidnapped, y'all know exactly what I'm wearing.
That's right. There's never a question. Never a question. But you get done up from time to time. I've seen you get done up. Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is about as done up as I have a collar on today, so this is about as done up as I get right here.
Well, I brushed my hair for you. I never.
It's shimmering. It's shimmering. It looks great. I put beard oil in for you. Put beard oil in just for you. Levi Bennett, buddy of mine's on here. Robbie Daves Claiborne. We need some out here in West Texas. Probably talking about something we were talking about. Probably some giant crappie. Wesley Miller says snacky lures are excellent baits. I knocked out a Texas limit on them today.
Awesome.
So
very good.
man, those baits are taking off. I'm glad to see it. Rick Angel is asking if you guys are going to be at the expo in Branson next year.
Well, for reasons of pre-fishing, I haven't been invited yet.
What?
If that makes sense. So it's off limits if you qualified, right? Or if you've been invited. Well, we didn't qualify, nor are we invited yet. So
gotcha. Did you go catch some bass up there or something? So yes, they're gonna be there. You're getting invited. You know that. Quit it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Kidding.
I know. Yeah, they're gonna be there, respecting the off limits time. It is tough though. I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, because technically, if you don't have your invite in your hand, you go up there and do some looking around. But now I'm sure that these guys are getting invited. They'll be there.
Yeah, we know we'll get invited. I mean, we've been to 2 of them, so
you'll be there. We may not all be thrilled about going back there.
Not if it rains like it did.
Oh, that was. I try to block that out of my memory altogether.
That was horrible too.
Horrible. Chris Mushelek's on here, and I forgot to mention Chris at the beginning of the show. Slab Syndicate Hair Jigs, a sponsor of the show, sponsor of mine and Dylan's. Man, we appreciate you. Keep making quality products like you do.
And he's one of our sponsors also.
Okay,
Slab
I thought
Syndicate.
so.
Ties very good jigs, and I like that he is very attentive to detail, because every one of his jigs is going to be exactly the same. It seems like he takes a picture of them and just duplicates them.
Yep.
He uses the hooks I like.
Same.
And does a very good job. I couldn't ask for more.
Very strong hooks, very consistent with his quality and look and presentation of his baits. He's doing it all the right way, in my opinion, and really strives to take care of his customers however he can. And he's a one-man show. I mean, he ties every jig himself, and the quality shows. So we appreciate you, Chris. Kevin Rogers said boat flips only. Boat flips only. Exactly what you were talking about earlier. And about Truman, he said best lake in Missouri. I agree with that.
That's a very good lake.
Love to hate that lake. Serious Angler Bass Fishing says, howdy y'all. Rick Angel says they're biting at Clinton Lake. I need to check out Clinton Lake. Never been there. Les Stansteifer's on here. We know the Stansteifers, awesome guys. Les and Keaton, thank you guys for everything you do for the industry. Jason Big Fin says, hey, I'm here. I like
That's
him.
right.
I like him. Norman Vaughn, he says National Championship was an incredible experience. You guys did great. It's guys like Norm that I'd love had the opportunity to come fish that National Championship that qualified through the club level. It's a really cool experience, and is going to get more and more people to get involved at the national level if they're able to have those experiences. So, Jason Bigfin says, when I asked her to fish with me, that's awesome. My wife would have said nope. Slab Syndicate, yes sir, they had a heck of a season. Michael Kendall says, what's up? Levi Lemon, what's going on, man? Levi is an up and comer in this crappie fishing world. He doesn't live far from me. We're basically neighbors, and are trying to get on the boat to spend some time fishing together. Keaton Stansteifer's on there. Bo Tisdale's on here, says deadly hair jig is all he uses. No, Bo, that's what you use, deadly hair jigs. Let's see. Carlos. You know Carlos. Carlos is on here. man, congrats to him, right? He just announced he's going out on his own up there guiding on Grenada, Carlos Willis.
Yeah.
So, man, congrats to him. I'm glad he's making that jump. Reggie Donner, you know Reggie. Everybody knows Reggie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Reggie on the show. Let's see. D Wolf, Nick D Wolf commented back. D Wolf, I got it now. Carl Dearman, what's going on? Thanks for jumping on. John Stokes, he's a regular watcher here. Johnny Coleman, we agree. Love the Mississippi Crappie. Roby Claiborne, Jared Dyer, appreciate you. Okay, so Tom Peterson. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling through, and a lot of people are saying hello. They love you guys. Got a question here from Tom Peterson. When chasing a crappie on live scope, how far are you chasing? Shallow water seems tough to follow.
Say the last part.
Says, I'll say the whole thing. When chasing a crappie on live scope, how far are you chasing? Shallow water seems tough to follow. I imagine what he's saying, the shallower the water, the harder it is to chase the fish.
Well, talking about shallow water, Grenada, Mississippi, we was fishing 7 foot of water, sometimes 6, sometimes 5. I had to scope my live scope out to 60 foot because at 40 foot, these crappie, I don't know if they were moving when I seen them or if they were already starting to move or whatever the case, they were moving. And I had to chase them down, trolling motor on 7 and 8 sometimes. I've got a Jinko spider troll, a spider rigging rod, 1 pole in it, big old limber rod, it's made for spider rigging, but I had to get as far out in front as I can. I had a 1 ounce egg sinker on it with a 1/4 ounce jig head with a snacky lure on that 1/4 ounce jig head. And I'll tell you, it was the most craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. I'm 7 foot of water running these fish down, and you got the bait here, or you got the fish swimming. And finally, when you get that bait in front of that fish, just boom, nail it. And this fish is only 6 inches under the water at times. So when he comes up and hits that bait, he's jumping out of the water like a bass. And it was the craziest thing that I've ever seen. Our biggest fish was 356 there. I had to have a net person there because I'm using that long pole.
Yeah.
I couldn't boat flip. Ain't no way I could boat flip a 3-pounder with a spider rigging rod. Not in a tournament. I'm not going to try it.
No.
But our biggest was 356. Awesome fish. I hooked the fish, pulled the fish up around, and I just dropped my pole. I thought it was a bass. I just dropped my pole. I said, pick the pole up. Yes, ma'am. Picked the pole up, and she pulled up that 356, and I was amazed. I was like, wow, what a fish.
That's
I think a lot of
unbelievable.
people caught their personal best there.
Oh, tons of
yes,
people.
it is tough in shallow water. It's way more tough in shallow water. You are correct. Yeah. Deeper water, anywhere from 15 to 30 or 15 to unlimited depth. It's pretty simple as long as there's not a lot of shad.
Yeah.
You get in an area where there's a lot of shad, you more times than none you will lose that fish. If that fish is really moving, if that fish is really roaming, moving pretty good speed. Yeah,
they get lost in the shad. I like bait around, but I don't like when it's just carpet shad. It's tough to pick them out, and they've got so many bait options at that point.
Right.
Easy meals that even if you do get a jig in front of them, they're not always going to bite your jig because they've got a 4-inch gizzard shad. 1,000 of them right there to pick from. So, but I agree. I agree with everything you guys are saying. That shallow water chasing fish, they're typically going to be closer to the bottom and tougher to stay on, and be spookier, from the boat and the trolling motor, and want to get away from you faster. So it can definitely be done, as Richard said, at Grenada. he was in 7 foot of water. Me and Dylan, the first day, fished 4 foot of water, and had to chase fish in that 4 foot water. It's also really tough to get a good solid hook set, when you're fishing in that shallow. So that was a struggle that we had there, for sure. But it can definitely be done. It just takes time on the water, patience, and practice. Practice. Can't preach it enough. So if you guys are working on it, stay after it, and you will get better at it, I promise you. Trent Toops is on here. What's going on, buddy? Scott Malone. Kip Wright. What's up, Kip? Kip's a guy down Lake Fork. He was our boat marshal for me and Dylan down at the Texoma tournament. Awesome guy. Man, we appreciate you too, Chris, Slab Syndicate. Keep doing what you're doing. Scott Malone says, what up from the outdoortrip.com? Check out the outdoortrip.com.
Yes, that's one of our great sponsors. Also, outdoortrip.com. Any of you guys that are out there watching this show, hit me up after the show, or you can hit message outdoortrip.com. Hit their page. Tell them I sent you. You guys sign up for being a guide on that website. Number one, it costs you absolutely nothing to be on that website. When you get a trip, it costs you absolutely nothing. If your trip is $400, you get your $400. Okay, you get your money. Just like if you found somebody on Facebook that wanted to go fishing, wanted to hire you as a guide, you charge them $400. It's the same way with the outdoor trip. You get your money.
So check out the outdoortrip.com, guys. He's got a good thing going. Get on there, get more information about it, and get signed up. Appreciate him getting on here and supporting you guys and supporting the industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
Wesley's asking, and I don't know, Chris, if you're still on here watching, you'll obviously know. You might know. What do you know? What kind of hooks Slab Syndicate's using? I assume they're mustads.
Yeah, they're going to be a mustad. I don't know exactly the kind, but I bought some myself because I pour some jigs myself, and I play around with tying, but I used the mustad steelhead hook. Tell Wesley I'll send him Wesley, I'll send you a hook number. That way you can just look up the hook.
Perfect. Levi Lemon, it's a good question for you guys. What made y'all go to an aluminum boat instead of a fiberglass?
Well, the end of 2019, I was going to look at a boat, and I had a bass boat. Okay, I bought a bass boat. My bass boat burned completely. I'm in the water, burnt to a crisp. I was in Tulsa one day and just went into Tulsa boat sales, and they had it lined up perfectly for me. It was just, oh my God. They had the 19-footer, they had the 21-footer, and then they had this big, beautiful barge that I had to have. Center console, so I had to have it. The aluminum boat works great for us. Some people, they don't like them. Some people like them. And the number two reason, other than it just looked fantastic to me, the number two reason was I'm a guide on a big lake that has $8 million yachts. So I need something big with deep sides to be able to carry my customers safely and make them feel safe. Because it is a big, heavy boat, got 10 batteries in it. Now I've lightened the load up. I got Dakota lithiums, but at the time, I had Group 31 Pro Guide Series batteries, and a lot of them.
Yeah.
That 22-inch screen, that Garmin, It takes so much battery.
Yeah.
I'll kill two 12-volt batteries one day, group 31.
Richard fishes, for those of you that are watching that aren't aware, Richard and Ashely have a 22-inch Garmin screen for their live scope. And hey, if you want one, you know where to get them. Holler at your boy. I've not sold one yet, but I look forward to it. It is a TV on the front of this arc that Ashely and Richard guide fish out of, tournament fish out of, everything. He's even built a custom sunshade around it. I mean, Richard, you're not a small guy, right?
No.
But I can still barely see you behind this dang screen and sunshade.
Right.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome.
It's a big screen. It works well, especially for when we was chasing those Grenada fish. I mean, you could scope out there, and I'm scoping out 50, 60 foot, and I'm still at 2 foot increments.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that helps out a lot.
And you're only getting that when you get up in that 8600 series
right.
product, when you're zoomed out that far with 2 foot increments. All right, let's plow through the rest of these questions here. Kip Wright, I agree. Slab Syndicate jigs, good enough to hang on a Christmas tree. Ethan Bowes, thanks for jumping on. Jimmy Graham, you're absolutely right. A lot of talent that I'm getting to talk to you right now. Zach Lawmaster, absolutely, man. We're happy to support you. Jerry Graham's on. What's going on? Larry Gorham, Truman. Lots of tours have been won way up in the water column. Way agreed. With live scope, we're learning that we're catching these fish really shallow in the water column. Don Mayberry says, do y'all have a preference, clear water versus dirty?
If there's one live scoping guy out there that says they'd rather fish clear water over dirty water, they're lying.
Yeah.
So yeah, muddy water is our favorite. But I guide on a clear water lake. So that helps me out when we do have those tournaments that are on clear water, like Table Rock.
Yeah.
You know, that's extra clear.
Yeah. Yeah, scary clear. And, the fish are more spooky in clear water, tougher to get close to them. My preference is vertically dropping a bait on them. I think yours is too, both y'all's.
Right now, you got, right now on Grand Lake, they are some suspended fish, but they're 35 and 40 foot deep.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to Eufaula right now, you can catch one at 12 foot.
6 foot.
Yeah, 6 foot, whatever,
Yeah. I think it's, those muddier water fish just are easy to creep up on. Johnny Coleman's asking, what's your best color for everyday Mississippi crappie? Just if you go to Mississippi tomorrow, what's your go-to color? What are you starting with?
I hate when people ask me color because I can't lie.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's that. I don't care if it's a snacky milk. I don't care if it's Ashely.
I use this everywhere we go just because I like it.
I don't.
It's named after you.
If it's laying near me and I need it real fast, I'm picking up any color. I got a gallon bag full of them, and they're all mixed different colors. I reach my hand in there and pick one, and that's what I'm going with. You put that bait in front of that fish, she's either going to bite or she's not. And it wouldn't have mattered if you put a minnow down there. She wouldn't have bit.
Yeah. Gonna bite or not gonna bite. Bait profile means way more to me than bait color. That being said, I am also a believer that having confidence in your bait, whether that's a certain color that you use or profile, whatever, confidence is key to fishing. You're gonna fish harder, you're gonna work harder to get your bait on that fish. And I have always been, probably always will be, the first thing I'm going to start with is white and chartreuse. I love white and chartreuse. I don't care if it's muddy water, clear water, stained water. That's just my go-to because that's what I have confidence in. But I agree with y'all. I don't think color makes a huge difference. I did a segment with Todd Huckabee with Wired to Fish. And he talked a lot about that same thing, what he's learned over the past few years having live scope that, have busted a lot of the myths that he has thought about before. And color is definitely one of those things. So
yeah, let's go back a little bit. Talking now I'm strictly talking about suspended fish.
Yeah, true.
And possibly fish on trees.
Mm-hmm.
One single fish nosed up to a tree. It don't matter what it is. I've made a Facebook Live video before we designed snacky lures that I caught a fish on a.
Here we go. We're getting them back.
Yes, back on.
All right, we got you back.
So yeah, I mean, a Facebook Live video, no editing, it's live. I caught a fish on a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Ribbon you would tie on a limb line, just tear a piece off and use it. Facebook Live. But now those were suspended fish. Now, when you talk about fish under docks, in brush piles, near brush piles, on laydowns, those fish are a little bit more, and you need that variety of color and variety of profile.
Yeah.
Whether it's small, medium, or large, light and dark color is what I keep in the boat. Small, medium, or big bait, little bait, light and dark.
That's it. I agree with you 100%. We can talk about color and profile and size, and there are definitely days that it all makes a difference. I've had plenty of days where I did have to cycle through colors to find the one that the fish wanted that day. So, like I said, I'm a white and chartreuse guy. It's my go-to, but the best day fishing I've ever had in my life was on Millwood Lake in Arkansas, and it was a orange. Hold up that snacky lure again, that orange one. It looked just like that. It looked just like that. And that was the color they wanted that day. So, you got to cycle through and have every tool in your arsenal there. Let's see here. Norm, you got to get some snacky lures, man. Give them a shot. Slab Syndicate got on. Chris jumped on. Mustad for Wesley here. Mustad 2X Stillhead.
Yep.
Or the hooks he uses. Joshua Matthew Crappie Fishing jumped on. Said Grand will sink a small boat. That's no joke. Absolutely. Ethan Bowes, Dirty. Tim Adams, man, yeah. Profile and presentation goes a long, long way. Joshua jumped on talking about your live, what you just discussed. Frank McKinney, it's a great question. Do you all use many hand ties in the winter or mostly plastics?
I tell you what, I got 6 Kevin Rogers rods rigged up. 3 of them has snacky lures on it. 3 of them has hand ties on it.
Yeah.
And which way I go around the console, going up to the trolling motor, determines whether I'm using a hand tie or a snacky lure. I just pick a rod up and go, because I know both of them
fish on
are gonna work.
Yep. The key is getting the bait in front of the fish. I'm always going to start with a big bait, and if they are going to hit a big bait with a 1/4 ounce jig head, that's what I want to use, because if they're hitting that, they're smashing it. Now, if they're finicky, then I'll grab a hand tie and a 32nd ounce and drop it down there and try to get them to go on that. So just again having all those different tools in your arsenal. Casey Davis, what's going on? Joshua Lemons, what's happening, man? Let's see, Nick D. Wolf, I got it right now. Do you dead stick plastics or drag them over?
Both.
Yeah.
The bigger baits, I vertical fish them a lot more often than I do the FS 200s, just because the FS 400, the bigger bait, is my winter bait. And the FS 200, the smaller bait, that's more of my summer bait.
Leave it to Kevin Rogers to have the best answers, on planet Earth. He says, best color in the world is the one you caught your last fish on. Amen. Amen. I couldn't agree with that anymore.
That is the best color in the world.
That's the best color in the world, man. I've heard him say that before, and it's actually brilliant and true. Trent Toot caught him on certain colors. Then they stop biting, so he changes colors, and that helps him to eat again. That's absolutely. That's why we've got a million different colors in the crappie jig world. Chris Durham, profile and presentation, I agree with you. Guys, we're running over time here. There's one more thing, Shannon. If I can get you to throw a graphic up on the screen, I think he's got a picture of your stack of hardware, which I can see a little bit in the background. Look at that. Look at that. How beautiful is that? What a year for y'all. I mean, that is a dream right there of mine, to have a wall, a beautiful cedar wall, very well done, with trophies and plaques. Man, I kind of get a hard time because I love hardware. Obviously, the checks are nice that come along with it. But to me, the hardware are the memories that are made, and every piece of it that I'm able to acquire when I look at it, it triggers that memory of whom I fished with, the fish that we caught, how we won that tournament. So I'm stoked for you guys on an awesome season. Congratulations again.
That hardware there was for this year.
All from this year.
And every plaque you've seen on that picture was this year. There's plaques in between those trophies up there. That's from first place to male, female, to rookie team, and second place angler team of the year. And I was smart, I picked the partner that could bring home the trophies with us. We could double up on them, because that's a his wall and a her wall.
Absolutely. You keep them both. Look at that. I love it. Phenomenal job. You're going to have to add a room onto the house after next year if you have the same success.
I did all this work to this place, remodeling it, and I did it. The cedar wood would help a good friend of mine, Mr. Brad, and another gentleman. But got an offer, basically, one of my sponsors helped me out and asked me how I would like to guide on Grenada Lake. I said, golly, that'd be a dream. So I'm moving to Grenada Lake soon. So I'll be guiding out there along with other lakes. So we'll be there on Grenada, Enid, Arcabutla, Sardis. So,
I mean, you're moving out to the biggest crappie in the country, some of the best lakes in the country with the biggest fish. I'm happy for you guys both getting to live this dream, and you've earned every bit of it, and you're doing it all the right way. So keep it up. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Any more shout outs you want to give before we jump off here?
Yes, definitely want to give a shout out to Carzone USA in West Monroe, Louisiana. Chris Fuller and his beautiful wife, Miss Sandy. They help us out tremendously going to these tournaments. TheOutdoorTrip.com, one of our very big sponsors. Thank you, Scott and James Humphreys, for everything that you guys do. There again, if you're a guide and you want to be on this website, it's going to be huge. Jinko Fishing, thanks for everything they do. Will Roby, Tony Shepard, Kevin Rogers, Colton. Those guys are wonderful to make great products. One of the greats, Kevin Rogers and Tony Shepard, they've got Jinko has their products now in Bass Pro Shops, which is awesome. That's a big accomplishment there. To be able to be in one of those stores, in my mind, my opinion.
Oh, it's huge.
Awesome job there,
huge deal.
And thank you guys. Taylor Littlefield with Pure Living for Outdoors does a lot of videos for me on YouTube. So thanks to him. Big Daddy's Lures in Locust Grove. If you want to order anything online, any terminal tackle, anything, they carry Jinko products, Jinko rods, a lot of great products out there. Other companies, look them up. Who else?
He's looking at Jersey
Snacky
right
Lures.
now. Snacky Lures.
Zach
Syndicate.
Lowmaster is one of the greatest guys I've met, and happy to be working with him. We made this. His mother, Miss Becky, she sits in there and works her fingers to the bone, packaging all these baits. These baits are not easy to make, So thanks to those guys. It does what they do. I feel like I'm on stage. I got to look at your shirt. I think that's it. Oh. The bass tank. Dummy. How could I forget?
I wasn't going to let you forget. Don't worry.
Yeah, Lee.
No, we appreciate you guys and being on the team for the past year and a half, 2 years, whatever it's been. We look forward to continuing the relationship. I mean, we're gonna miss you in Oklahoma, but if you got to move somewhere, I'm just glad you're moving somewhere that I want to come fish. Absolutely. So I'll have a place to come stay and hang out and friends there and get to enjoy that with you. So.
We'll have you a place to stay.
Man, I love it. I love it. At least a place to park my truck, and I can even sleep in that. So
you'll have a place to park your truck, plug your boat in,
even better.
By fire or whatever.
It's going to be a good time. Thank you guys so much for everything you do for the Bass Tank, for all your sponsors, for the industry as a whole, and keep at it. And man, we have had a lot of people on here watching, which is a tribute to y'all and what you've done and are building and continue to build. So keep it up, and we'll be in touch. And thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you, and thanks for all the questions, guys. Thanks for each and every one of you out there watching. Because without you guys and our sponsors, it just wouldn't be fun.
Absolutely. Amen. Wouldn't be fun. And I am all about having fun. So, all right, guys, we're going to cut this off. And man, I like this time frame, 6:00 on Thursdays. So next week, tune in. We'll be announcing early next week who's going to be on. And thank you, everybody, for jumping on. Thank you, Ashely and Richard. And tell Little Minnow I said hi.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time.
See you.
See ya.